Bandito Radio 112 FM, a streaming radio station for all toy enthusiasts, collectors, photographers, and customizers. Built to match your mood and passion. Music from hip-hop to country and all the rock in between with host Howlin' Jim Jackson. For a dose of the macabre, there's Myra's Morgue of Midnight Madness. Plus our newest collector podcast, Purple Gang Gang Full Frontal Purple. And Action Figure Frequencies. With your hosts, SKN's own Chet Maddox and Alexander Storm. Bandito Radio 112 FM. Available to stream now on Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, dogs, pets, fishes, children of all ages, Bigfoot, abominable snowman, everyone watching here live on SKN. We are excited to bring to you another jam-packed episode of Pixels, Plastic, and Ink. Tonight, we talk about G.I. Joe. Yo-Joe June, or should I say No Show June?
Oh.
You know, in true military fashion, it was radio silence for Yo-Joe June. We still got a couple days left, but if knowing is half the battle, I think we got ghosted on the other half. Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about some Hasbro wins. Juggernaut came out this week, and did you pre-order? What about all the Marvel releases over the past couple of weeks? Do they have one leg up on the Joe Hasbro team? We're going to talk about a lot of other things. Pre-orders. We're going to talk about Jaws popcorn bucket and lots more. Stay tuned, folks. This is Pixels, Plastic, and Ink. Well, as always, thanks for tuning in every Friday night here, 7 p.m. Pacific time, right here on the Shadow Nose Network. We are so appreciative of you all jumping in, whether or not you're live in the chat watching the stream or you watch us on replay. Genuinely appreciative of the support. Before we go any further, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment, share this stream. It only helps it grow. Gentlemen, how are you all this fine Friday evening? Mr. Storm, how are you, sir?
Doing great, brother. Doing great, man. Looking forward to the entire week of stuff that we've got to go over because, man, it was a entire, oh, and actually, even an entire month of stuff. So, a lot
There's
Mhm.
a
of stuff
lot.
tonight, brother. A lot of stuff.
A lot, a lot. Dr. Brantley, how are you?
Great. I'm glad I don't collect Joe, so I'm not disappointed at all in June.
Well, you got to go
And
with that, don't you?
Chet Maddox, how are you, sir?
Says the man with the Cobra ripoff shirt on.
That's
Hey, I
right.
like your shirt. Hey, look, I'm there. No Joe June has been pretty rad for everybody, I think. And I'm happy to get into it. We got a lot of shit to talk about tonight because it has been a cluster of fantastical fuck ups and famous problems. And I think that Hasbro has done really well on most fronts, and a little bummed out about Joe June. But hey, I got to see them unbox a Rattler, and I realized that I made a good purchase. So,
Yep.
how are you doing, Mr. Rad? How's your week been? What have you been up to?
It's good in the world of collecting. There's just a ton of going on, and then obviously pop culture, all these films and comic book news, and all these new releases. Man, I'm excited to get right into things. And our first topic of the evening, Hasbro has had a lot of different highlights this past month. From Star Wars to Marvel to GI Joe, we could talk a lot about some bright spots, but we're going to start with a little bit more of the disappointing end of things, and that is Joe June. Um, there has been a little bit of opportunity here from canceled to delayed streams to maybe less figures or vehicles than anticipated to a lot of the figures that were released still available on pre-order on Hasbro Pulse, which is very surprising and could speak to the demand and anticipation of perhaps some of these figures that they had released. But in general, as we await the HasLab announcement in the last of the final Joe June fan stream on the 30th of next week, I think overall it's been very poor across the Reddit scene, online, and the G.I. Joe universe. So, gentlemen, what are your thoughts here about the Hasbro team and Joe June thus far?
Well, I think the chat's pretty much saying that early that everyone else. I've been within the chat on several of the Joe forums on Facebook, on X. A lot of people are disappointed, and I think it's a PR mistake. It's not so much the Hasbro team as the Hasbro PR team, and
Yeah.
I've got to think that there's going to have to be some form of retribution down on this because this was colossal, man. I know we've got a timeline up there, but I've never seen someone use the terminology "fumble the bag" as bad as Hasbro did because he started off on fire, and you know, like to take a look
I,
at this, man.
yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I think the overarching sentiment is that it's like here's Joe June, we'll go on fire for the first week and then not really pay attention to it, and then we'll throw you a HasLab to shut you up, and then we'll kind of go for it. And I think that's obviously not the intention, but I think that the assumption can be made just because of kind of like how this was handled a little bit, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but it was like, you just had, it's like our thing says here, reveals, canceling pre-orders, talking about a comic, nothing realistically, and then I don't know, man. It's a little disappointing.
Well, and they know this thing is coming for a year, every year in June. You'd think they would put some stuff together. They have plenty of time to figure out what they want to reveal little by little and build up to like a big, oh, this is the main thing you're waiting for, HasLab. And Yeah, I think last year Star Wars kind of screwed up. This year I think it's Joe that screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I don't understand is you have the full month in its entirety to promote Joe. And the only major week of actual figures review, which let's be honest, most people are tuning in to Hasbro fan stream about figures. They don't really give a shit about the comic books. Maybe some diehards. Look, I'm not a diehard, but I'm sure some people are interested. But let's be honest, the majority of the people want to see what's coming out. What's the figures? What's the 6 inch? What's the, what's the retro? And for stuff to drop pre-order without notice, and then weeks go by where there's no other figure news, and then an unbox of the Rattler
Mhm.
is very strange to me. I think the other thing too is like the Cobra Rattler is done. Like you can't order that anymore. People are waiting to
Mhm.
get it. What's the purpose of unboxing? To me, it felt like a stopgap solution because you failed on the content for week 4,
Mhm.
right? People are getting those; they're going to open them. Creators and toy photographers are going to release this. Why did we need to see that? Just to get more excited about our purchases?
Mhm.
Like it didn't make sense to me. It was cool to see it,
Yeah.
but I feel like week 4 had something else in mind, and they're like, "What could we do?" And let's just scramble to like show off the Rattler. And here we're on week 5, which is great. We're going to see a HasLab. Is that it? So if you
Was
think about it, not
it,
the greatest of releases on week 2, not the most organized way, and then weeks go by, and then week 5 is going to end with the HasLab.
Here's what they did. They didn't even do a week. They actually got lucky, and there's one last day of the month. And you
Yeah,
can tell that the misplanning was we're going because every week it had been Wednesday. They had dropped something, and they were just lucky that they had a Monday left. But they really fumbled the bag on this one. There's no other way around it. Like I said again, it's a PR thing. You've got not just a month, you've got a year to prepare for this. So you've got a year to think up to this. Like, what are we going to do this entire month? And it seemed like they had a plan for week 1, and then like I don't know, maybe somebody was out sick or something, and the rest of the week's plans just went out the door. But fans were equally pissed. And then one of the other aspects that we're going from this is it was the Snowcat reveal, because everything that I'm seeing, and I thought it was going to be a Mobat, or I thought it was going to be the Mauler. I thought one of the two. And Snowcat did not hit my mind because I thought maybe they could bring that to retail just at a standard size. Um, and like that's evil eye right here. Oh, you sound like a bunch of haters. Is Mattel paying you to say these things? Well, you've
I
heard
wish.
us talk about Mattel, so we
Yeah.
know Mattel's not paying
hey,
us. But
well, I
I'll
will say
accept
though,
money from Mattel.
I will say though, Hasbro has not dropped the ball. It's just this team, because we'll get into it. Marvel's crushed the past couple of months.
yes,
That team has been on fire. So it's just you and Star Wars too. Like, I know there's been some feedback there of what's happened over the past couple in May, but this one was just a ball drop. Let's
yeah,
be very clear.
mhm,
This is just saying it how it is
And not a
that
good ball
they're
drop.
not a good ball drop. Like not there just hasn't been a lot of hype. And the other thing too is I don't know, like I read the forums. I know we hate to say the forums. That's where a lot of the Joe are people excited about this the Snowcat? I don't know. I can't tell. Like Mr. Storm, are people like
no,
amped up about it? Did it? And it doesn't seem like it's a surprise if you basically hinted at it for the past several weeks.
yeah.
You should have like kept a lid on it.
Every year it normally comes out that we actually get one. It says, yeah, if you watch the full force, everything went to plan minus some of their very small hiccups. That's terrible. If Edward, if they were 100%, this was their plan. This was the weakest plan I've seen. That was not actually. It didn't create buzz. You've got to create buzz. But like, when I'm over on the forums, I'm looking at a lot of people are like, people are like, oh, it's a Snowcat. I'm probably not on it. If it would have been a Mauler, I would have bought two, or because I think that people are looking at the definition of what the Snowcat is in the old school, the original way it looked like. So that's kind of like hurting it out and everything. And I think we got some photos of the original one, and you know if it's that, everyone's disappointed. If it's a hybrid and they're doing it kind of like, and I know Rad, you got the Gridiron Studios Parallax, right?
Yeah.
See that, I think it's gonna not hit expectations. If you do something like that and they come out as huge trip builder and you can carrier and you can put all the characters in, I think that you're gonna get a minimum of people that are not upset about it. They're like, okay, if you do the exact vintage thing that we see right here, yeah, because that's to me is like, look, I've already got a vintage snowcat. I don't want to just get the same thing, just a couple of scales bigger. Give me something else a bit more. But there's a couple of key things right here where it says, we all know they didn't do a good job. Normally over the years they have photos and everything leaked. But this is one of the few times that they kept that under wraps. Pricing needs to be on point. If this thing goes over to a level, we may be looking at like a HasLab that's not going to fund, because like you're hitting a lot of people. Like, you've had a lot of the Marvel Legends stuff. The Star Wars Black Series just had a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. The Classified has a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. They're very pricey. And then you're going to turn around and have a HasLab. Like, it needs to be at an equally smart pricing. If it's not, that's gonna have part. The tiers this time, you can't do no patches. You really need to have something up and everything. So I really like the original Snowcat. And I have to say that I'm surprised at the choice for the HasLab at this stage. Like maybe they did a bunch of other vehicles first. I could see it odd choice, and that's exactly because they've only got a couple of snowtroopers. So
Yeah,
this
that's what I'm
wasn't
saying.
something we were thinking about.
This is like typically, unless
Mhm.
you just like to have vehicles on the shelf, and I could see
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter if they fit within a theme of if you set them up. But if you're someone that likes to place them in, a diorama, or you play with them, or you set them up on a shelf, like there's no like complement or supplemental vehicles to go along with the snow. Like other than a couple figures, what else did they release? Like there's not a ton. So
Mhm.
you'd figure they would have done unless something's coming we don't know of. But then again, it's like, well, this only has a certain amount of time to fund. So
Yeah.
I would have thought like you released a couple of snow themed Arctic
Exactly.
vehicles and then you drop this and it's like, okay, I got to pick this up. But let's be honest, most of the stuff is like not will not fit. So I'm just thinking like
Yeah.
if I got tanks and I got, the strike, like all strike, this is going to fit. It just doesn't make sense. Look, if you're a Joe fan, you'll probably pick it up, but it just feels like out of the blue, it feels a little weird.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When they had the His tank, okay, the counterpart was the Dragonfly. Great counterpart. Made sense. Absolutely. This one is like now you've got the Hiss, you got the Dragonfly, it's the Rattler. Great, makes sense. Snowcat, it didn't make sense in the when you threw it in. And again, if this thing is great, look, chances are, I'm unbiased. I'm probably gonna purchase this anyway. But there's a level of excitement that you normally want to have. And
Yeah.
I just don't feel that excitement until I see it. Because Monday I might be like, wow, it blew me out of the point. I know it's gonna have lights, it's gonna have different features. The tiers is gonna have to be, only so many Joe Snowtroopers. What's the redo character they're gonna have? All these things kind of balance it in. So, it's one of those things. What's going
Hey,
on, Chad?
Chad. Now, I will say on a high note, and Chet mentioned at the beginning, the Rattler unbox was epic. So let's give kudos to all the HasLabs that have come out
Yeah,
have been spectacular. So
you've done the job.
look, even if the choice is wrong,
Hmm.
and we'll see, we know the Snowcat will be badass. Like if that's it, like I just they do a really great job on this. But this one, again, serious questions of like, why are you reaffirming people's purchases to instill confidence in everyone else that has FOMO? But this looked really great. I gotta
Chad has
say.
to rub it in that he went to Joe Fest. He knows we didn't
I
go.
know.
Next year, Chad.
Just in case,
Next year.
yeah, just in case you guys wondered, I had fun at Joe Fest.
Yeah. Like I said, no, but glad you had a good time. Everyone said that this was probably the Joe Fest of the entire year since they've been going. So don't worry, Chad. Next year we'll have some drinks with you at Joe Fest. and it says Spike Snow Cone Maker included, please. Yeah, you know what? If they did Snoopy Snow Cone, it might work somehow.
That's the only acceptable snow cone is like, and like they do the MMS, right? For like the
Yeah.
Stinger and the His Tank.
Yeah.
They had the MMS is basically transformed into the Snoopy snow cone maker.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, hey, one thing I will give them credit on when they say that the boxes tell a story and everything. I've kept all of my boxes. They've improved on it. The His Tank box is good. The Dragonfly went up a notch. This is also, I love to have, like, if you want to, I know some people cut the boxes and put them as wall art, and they frame
Yep.
it. Wild Weasel, one of my favorite corporate characters. It's cool to see him unmasked and all. So many great characters. But the one thing I was telling Chad on Chet on Toy Box Chronicles was the stand that basically you can put all the missiles in. It's modular. It has an actual drawer, and you can put all the excess stuff that you normally would have to. I kept all of the other excess stuff like the rocket flares and the burst and everything in like the box. I've got a couple of things set up, but I don't just go gung ho crazy for it. Well, now you can actually put it on the stand, and that's incredibly smart because when you're looking at shelf space and you may want to change the display up, that makes it look really cool, man.
Yeah, they did. He did talk about how he wanted to have this stand have a ball joint on it so that it could rotate, and then there was safety concerns, so they couldn't do it.
Mhm.
That translates to somebody like Darth Moocher will end up making like a ball joint attachment for the stand, and then you can do your own thing at your own risk. But look, I think that this unbox was. What they showed and how they showed it, I think they nailed it again on packaging. I think it's a premium product again. Every detail. This is what I appreciate about the HasLabs, right? Like everything down to the detail of the boxing, regardless if you want it or not or whatever. Like when you do it, it's an experience. You open it up. There's like another experience to get into, then another experience to get into, then another, and it's like. Yeah, I mean that's cool. Like that's what I want to see, and I do think it's a testament. Look, this is the first HasLab we're getting like on time or before it's supposed to come.
Yep.
So, like that's a huge thing, right? And I think the problem is that I think that if I was to do it a little bit different, we've been talking about JoJo June and like what needs to happen with that. Look, I don't understand why they didn't hold off on announcing, some of the stuff they announced for San Diego Comic-Con for June. Like that would have been a banger way to end out June. Is just like, everything that they had for Joe that they announced or thinking about announcing, whatever. Just putting that in all in June is like, yeah, that's an action-filled month, But this unbox was well. While I think it was lengthy, I do think it was really good.
Mhm.
So, what do you think saves Joe June? Do you think that the Epic Snowcat HasLab on the 30th kind of saves it, makes people feel better about the month, or do you think there needs to be more?
No, I think if it's out of the box and it just like slaps somebody clear across the face, like when I saw the Dragonfly, or like the impression of when we saw the Rattler, especially not just online but at San Diego Comic Con, I I think if you nail it and you nail all the tiers, then yeah, and I think this one has to come. I think the Snowcat is a little bit of a disappointment vehicle. It's got to come with four figures. It can't come with like patches or some kind of keychain or something. It needs to come with four direct figures with it.
The His Tank was 4 figures, right?
Yep.
And
And the
then
same thing the Dragonfly.
Dragonfly was 4.
Hmm.
And
Rattlers
then
3.
and Rattlers 3, but that's fine because I'd way rather have patches.
Well, I guess the question, like you said, Mr. Storm, like how many figures could there be on the Joe front? Like, do you think there could?
There's
No,
enough.
but like Arctic, I guess they could. There's a few if
There,
they dig into the catalog. I guess they could include.
mhm.
Yeah.
There's enough. There's some after the 80s version when they started towards the end of the line and he started coming with like Ninja Force and everything. There was all
Yeah.
kind of characters they created, so they've got them. Some of those characters are a little obscure, but
Well, they could throw any character into a snow outfit and just say, "Hey, this is Duke
yeah,
in the snow." This is Snake Eyes in the snow.
Like we need another Snake Eyes.
Yep.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Like
It,
Snake Eyes is like the new Barbie. It's like you got 45 versions on the shelf. Like what kind of costumes is he wearing?
Yeah. Our buddy Bly, as usual. Hey guys, if you can't afford the HasLab, can I just say then that they are all trash, and anyone that funds them is stupid. Holy Bly, what's going on? Also, Warlock, Purple Gang Gang.
Speaking of Purple Gang Gang, we need a purple Snake Eyes. I mean, hell, if we got a purple Deadpool, we need a purple Snake Eyes.
That work.
Customizers out there, let's do it. Let's get on it. Let's get on it. Well, I know we got some other Joe news to talk about in the world of GI Joe.
Yes, we do. We have got, well, actually, you know, again, now when you look at this whole you know, the comic book and that Josh Williams down that week, and he said, "Rat spitting truth." Yes, he is. Purple Snake Eyes for the win. You know, when he was talking about the, you know, they had Josh Williams and Lenny sit down for week number 3. They were talking about the Energon universe and everything. That might have been a little bit of planned, because it seems like after that, you know, Robert Kirkman does what he does, and he's got someone to pick up a Energon universe. This Robert Kirkman Skybound is bringing Transformers and G.I. Joe together in an all-new animated streaming series. So that could be Amazon, it could be anywhere. The show will be based on the hit Energon comic books, now published through Image Comics. Transformers G.I. Joe copyrights moved from, well, we all know, Skybound, and it was at IDW, then it was at Devil's Due, then it was Marvel, so it's been all over the place. But they're saying that we could expect an announcement at San Diego Comic-Con, which is good. A comic-based something is being announced at San Diego Comic-Con, so... What do you, you know, what do you guys think about that? You know,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I really am not sure.
It's you know, the end of the last Transformers movies hinted that G.I. Joe was going to be involved, so this might be them just trying to start something as well. It's like, hey, if we can get some money in there, throw some stuff, you know.
Yeah, you know, look, you know, Invincibles, a good series, is animated quite well. It comes out pretty frequently. I think if they do something and they have a good storyline to it, and it's a look, we rarely ever seen this kind of like thing unfold animated wise. If they would have done that crossover in the 80s, it probably would have been massive. So, you know, if they do it right, it could be good, man.
Do you think this is something that so Kirkman's involved, obviously, whatever. Do you think that this is something that Hasbro thumbs down? Do you think this is something that Hasbro allows it to get to the next level in terms of like maybe hitting that PG-13?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because I think what's needed is if you could just take it to another level of just not really. I mean, it's focused on kids, but kind of like moving into that PG-13 status or whatever the typical TV ratings are for TV shows. I think there's potential new fan base on that. You know, like you said, you watch Invincibles, is like, okay, like that's something. But to be real, I think that is something that, you know, I would like to see as someone that's like a fan of it from when I was younger to now, like to see that era of cartoon kind of like evolve to a situation where it's like that. Would maybe not as in depth as like Invincible, but I think, you know, it somewhere around there. I don't know. Whatever your thoughts are on that, but I was just kind of thinking about that today. Is like, I mean, I can see where that would make sense.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think it should be mature. I think it should be, because Invincible is a highly mature show. I don't think it needs to be that. I think if you're going to try to plan and get brand new fans, especially we just saw Overwatch with G.I. Joe, and you know, you've got to you can get fans in. You know, they love the characters. You know, Snake Eyes and Optimus Prime, and there's so many iconic characters. If you do this right, the animation looks good. I think you can bring new fans into it just by having a good cartoon series, especially on a streaming series too.
I hope someday, maybe not anytime soon, they do revisit a live action Joe franchise and they do it right, not the garbage that we saw. And you give it to a director and a producer that can really make it go. But it deserves it. So I'm hoping that's the case. Such great lore,
Correct
characters.
opinion.
Um, it definitely could be great. So we'll see. Speaking of film and television, big news as we transition topics is that the Amazon empire, who purchased the 007 franchise, has now paid for one of the top directors in the industry here, and that is none other than Denis Villeneuve, who is most famously directed the Dune series, but a ton of other amazing films. And oh boy, this was hot off the press.
Well,
This means we are serious.
mhm.
And I think one thing for sure, right? Lots of rumors, Mr. Storm, Dr. Brantley, Chet. I am pretty confident that he would not have signed on if he didn't have someone in mind and doesn't have a voice in the casting. So, your take on this, first and foremost. And second, who is going to be Bond? Because that is the next step in this puzzle.
Mm. Well, again, just like the wholesome Warlock said, GOAT director, Blade Runner 2049 gang. And look, I
So
give him
good.
credit. This is probably the people were wondering what he was going to do with Dune. He knocked that out of the park. But like for Bond, you go up another tier of pressure, especially since he's not English and he's actually doing it because this is the first time we're going to see someone outside of England actually tackle this character. So I got to give him credit on this. To sign up, this is a guy that said, I got a plan. I know what I'm going to do, and I can knock this out of the park. This is going to be a good film. It's probably going to be epic, and it's going to be long, and we're probably going to enjoy the hell out of this, bro.
Tom Holland on steroids.
No, that's not what you need. Yeah, it's gonna look great. At least it's probably gonna look as good as Skyfall, which I think is the best looking Bond film to date. He knows how to do these things with giant casts, so it might even be a two-parter depending on how big of a story they want to do and how they want to start it, which actually as a beginning could work. But I can't wait. This is the top guy. It's like only person you could have gotten on the same level is probably Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
And that was the rumor. That was the rumor, right?
And I think for this too, with it being that was the rumor with Chris Nolan, Odd Frogs, that someone at one point in the entertainment world had mentioned Idris Elba. That would be cool. I completely agree on that. But look, hey, there's a lot riding on this because this will be the first official thing to happen after leaving the family for so long. Wholesome Warlock said, Sicario gang, hey, give me Mr. Bean as Bond. I mean, he's got his own movies. But look, I think with him being the director and being able to go and reference exactly what he's done in recent years, does give me a lot of hope for the film. Because I love Bond. Bond plays like a very long history in my family, and so I'm hoping that this is something that if this is on the level of like Dune just in general, like it's gonna do something for Bond, right? So yeah, I mean we'll see. There's a lot riding on this, and hopefully Amazon doesn't mess it up because it is the first run since taking it over from the Cauliflower family.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, my dad took me to see what was it? The good Roger Moore one.
Moonraker.
No, the one right after that, For Your Eyes Only. But no, you know, so I was all into Star Wars and stuff, and so he was like, you know, enough of this space shit. Let me show you what you know, real men goes to see. So he took me to go see James Bond, and since then, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is amazing.
Commander Bly, I understand, but sometimes things just slip when we're talking about Bond, you know?
I think, look, I think there's been some speculation about somebody that's being cast in this role that may be less famous or maybe just a new actor. And I think you have to start off in a big way. You got the director. I don't think you could bring in someone that isn't a name. So I'm assuming it's going to be somebody that we've heard of. Please, Tom Holland. I don't need. I like my Bonds over 5'5". You know what I mean? Like you know, like Peter Parker. Stay Peter Parker. Look, I've seen it. It's not a net new idea. I think Henry Cavill would be a great Bond, and I think he's been dumped at Superman. They're trying to find like what's his new thing. Witcher. He left because they shit on that project too, and he wasn't happy. Man, if someone with great writing gave him an amazing script and a director at the helm, I think he could be an amazing star in this franchise. But he's played so many characters, I don't think they'll take the risk on him. He's just known for so many other different things. But that would be a choice for me and a believable choice.
They need to get somebody young, though, like in their early 30s, so that they can go with this. As long as it's successful, you want to be able to do 5 or 6 movies with this guy. And then, you know, deal with all recasting and everything. But as long as you got the right guy and the right filmmakers and the right script, you can keep going for a long time.
Yeah,
I agree. I think you've got an opportunity here with you know, starting over from scratch. You don't have a little bit of that like history that boggles down when the broccoli had it associated with. Maybe Amazon's gonna try some new things because they're not gonna hold that at the level. Start the franchise like they did, like they're doing for the game with the game. Absolutely, yeah. I think you've got an opportunity to you know, show us the best and everything. And let's see, I'm trying to get my board here. Don't mind him, but I see. Give Sean Connery another shot. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that, brother. That might be kind of hard to do that.
I mean,
Dr.
hell,
Brandley, you got to be careful. That's a comment by Commander Bly where he's getting ready to kick you, brother. Like, you got to be careful on that.
I mean, if we want to get nuts, let's get nuts. I know Shatner's looking for some work, and let's
as
just
M.
rip the bandit off, baby.
Shatner as M.
Oh,
it might work actually.
I mean, actually,
it might work.
You might steal the show there.
Yeah, I'm upset.
All he has to do is
works.
sit behind a desk. It's the perfect job for him.
What about that dude that was Mr. Feeney in Kid's Voice?
I don't know.
No clue.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You don't remember from Knight Rider, the guy who did Kit's voice?
Oh, Kit's voice. I thought you said kids. I was like, I don't know
No.
what the hell you're talking about.
Whatever.
Yeah, William Daniels.
Yeah.
I mean, technically,
Michael.
with CGI and AI, they could bring Sean Connery back. I mean,
Well, they could, yeah. You
That's
know, it's
just
possible.
But that's useless. It's too expensive, and it would only be nostalgia for people over 60.
it's true.
So
It's true. Well, we will wait and see who the next Bond is. Before we go any further, folks, we appreciate you all tuning in every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time right here on SKM. Please subscribe, like, comment. Again, spread the word. We appreciate the support each and every Friday. And we also go live Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Toy Box Chronicles, collectibles, toys, and all things toys. And speaking of toys, we have a segment that we're going to introduce. Isn't that right, Mr. Storm?
Oh, yeah, we're talking to me tonight. I was thinking thought it very usual was Dr. Britley knocking that out. But yeah, let's go. We're Pre-Order Mafia.
Leave the McFarlane. Take the mezcal.
That's right.
Hey,
Definitely.
okay.
If you're gonna do it, make sure you definitely leave that McFarlane. The difference. If you haven't seen it before, pre-order mafia is us kind of letting you know to bring down whenever there's a bunch of weeks that pop up and there's a whole bunch of stuff coming. We like to graphically go through this and tell you our kind of ways of what we're thinking. Now, pre-order mafia, there are a certain set of rules. It does have 3 tiers. Yes, it does. It has the number 1. It's a made figure. That means it's a made man in plastic. The figure earns its buttons and everything. The number 2 tier is forget about it. It's got some charm, but you don't break your back for it. Okay, and then number 3 is needs to sleep with the fishes. This one's getting whacked straight to the toy graveyard. So we've got some stuff that's popped up, and we'll see if we're whacking some toys. Or that didn't actually even sound right, did it?
No.
Nope.
Wrong
I was going to let it go.
No.
Wrong street.
No,
My
hold
mind.
on. All right. All right, you're
Dumb
back.
button. Dumb button.
As it just came out, I was like, something about that didn't work out too
Yeah.
right. And that one, it's like,
Well, that was the first name of this segment, Whacking Some Toys, and we decided probably not going to go over well, especially with shorts. Why did the YouTube Shorts channel get banned? I think it was Whacking Some Toys.
well,
Only Figs account.
well, let's go like this. If it get some cement shoes and put to the bottom of the ocean, let's roll with that one. Let's just roll with that metaphor a little better. All right. Well, here's the one. This week, you saw it actually on the 26th, which was Thursday. It didn't get up early in the morning. This one I do know a lot of people are talking about. They said it's one of the most impressive juggernauts they've seen. This is the Juggernaut to the Gamerverse. And look, you can see him like taking a chunk out of Captain America, which that's also a great looking Captain America as well of this line. I love the fist pound. He looks big. I've got to think that just showing the photos and everything from the Marvel team, they did a good job on this one. It's not the Maximum Hulk, and this lets you know that Maximum Hulk did not hold up when you see how big the Juggernaut. You look at the expression on his face. It's huge, man. So, gentlemen, for me, this is one of those. This is a made fig. You know,
Yeah.
you this is the one that you bring him up and everything as a dad. Give him 2 kisses on the cheeks and everything. He gets inducted into the family. What about you guys?
Oh yeah. I mean, the 3 best jugs we've had was the Build-A-Figure, that Colossus jug 2-pack, which was a hell of the latest Juggernaut, and then the Marvel Select, which is like 900 pounds, and you could bash somebody's car window with it. This to me tops them all. I love the expression. He looks heavy. He looks like he should. He's like I love him in a Bane fighting would be so epic. But this is a win for me, man. This is a win. And this goes back to the Hasbro Marvel Legends team. All of that Gamerverse stuff, the recent stuff, Marvel versus Capcom, has been incredible. And the releases have been on time. And sure, some stuff is sold out, but it's been pretty flawless, to be honest with you. But this one is a beast, man, for sure.
Yeah, this is this is something that I'm upset because we've talked about, are we collecting everything? What are we cutting back on? But I think I know that a majority of us will get everything that came out for the Gamerverse editions, minus when the Walmart exclusive comes out. No one will be able to grab that. The Target one, no one will be able to get that. So this was like a no-brainer. I'm somebody that loves like giant figs. Like one of my favorite figures of all time is the DC Icons deluxe dark side figure. That thing, you literally could probably break someone's skull open. That thing is just pure solid. I don't know what the hell they made it out of. So I'm excited to have this figure. I mean, when you saw it in the box, it looked like it was too big for the box, which was fantastic. And they did a good job. Like I have the Hulk Buster and then the Odin figure as well. Like they did a good job. But I mean, this is the articulation on this Juggernaut is like it's great. So
yeah, and it looks amazing. And to quote Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm getting on Juggernaut's Juggernauts.
That's actually got to take it to that level, Dr. Really. And you dropped the DC icon Dark Side into a sock before. Yeah, well, let me tell you, if you do, someone's not getting up. Actually, someone's not getting up. Holy shit and everything. Balls on from the Deadpool. only only Bly. So, like I said again, this is a made figure from everyone. Any kind of
easily, easily.
Yeah, I agree.
so, and again, if you haven't checked it, check over the your big bad toy stores, your Amazons, all the other places where you get your even Hasbro Pulse. In fact, Mr. Maddox, you want to check and see if this one actually has sold out yet. So while
Yeah.
we go on to the next fig, and there's a couple of ones that surprised me that I've seen popping up, and they're really doing some work right now. There's a lot of companies out here knocking stuff out, but this absolutely shocked the living hell out of me when I saw this. First of all, it's a 1/8 scale version of this, and it's limited to 1,000. So when this thing's going to hit out, you want to make sure you're not going to actually sit around for it. This is Mondo Cowboy Bebop figure. They did a great job. This looks like this jumped straight out of the animation, not like that Netflix show. This actually looks like they actually honored the animation. But Spike Spiegel, the main character from Cowboy Bebop, if you haven't seen that animated series, it is worth the watch. There's also a movie associated with it as well, and actually there is a Netflix series. Skip the Netflix series.
It is sold. It is sold out on Hasbro Pulse.
There you go. The best part about it is actually rolling. Commander Bly actually said, "Yep, it's Cowboy Bebop is such a classic. It is great music, great characters, great storyline. Rarely has it happened, but this is a limited figure, and it's a limited variant edition. Comes with a whole bunch of hands, guns, features, other situations from it. We'll go to the next page and take a look at this. This is a lot of accessories. The pricing is up there. It's 155, and it's going to be up for pre-order on July 3rd at noon Eastern Standard Time. Now, Rad can let you know about these, the Mondos and the Mayfexes and everything else. And obviously, you just actually picked up a Mezco item. How important, Rad, is it if you want this item to get up in the morning and make sure you're hitting that refresh button?
Yeah, I mean, anytime it's anything limited edition and a kind of a global popularity, usually they go pretty fast. Mono makes some great stuff, man. I was telling you guys earlier today, the He-Man stuff. I'm not a He-Man collector, but shit, man, it helps me diving into that world because they just make they just are teased Manny Faces Mondo, but the Skeletor, the He-Man. They do some really great. Mondo does some great Godzilla stuff. For me, this
Yeah.
is look. I'm not a big Mondo collector.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say this is made for me because I'm not sure about the scale. I think it's a forget about it though. And if you're into this seems like a cool figure to pick up. Cool accessories. And look, Mondo also, you hold on to it value wise, you'll be able to turn this around if you get tired of it.
Well, and I think Wholesome Warlock is lucky because it's not 1/6 scale; it's 1/8 scale, according to Mondo. So you're lucky. You can collect this. You can start with the only toy I think that's ever been 1/8 scale. So I'm not sure if that was like a mistype
Yeah.
or.
Well, I love the subtleness that they did to the animated show. If you watched it and everything, there's a Krogi that's Ines, if I believe that's his name, and then the flamethrower, and then he's got the jacket, and there's so many great accessories to this. And yeah, the size is a little different. We're not. It's very rare when you see a size comparison to 1/8, which I'm like, oh, okay, so it's a fairly big item. It's going to sit on the shelf looking great. You can see all the ways that you can pose it and everything. It's really going to be, if you're into Cowboy Bebop, you're going to probably actually want to do this. This for me is a forget about it, only because of the fact is that it's July 3rd. The month of the end of June and the middle of July is the worst pre-order month I have seen in several years. And it's like 155. All right, do I want that or do I want Cold Sliver? It's like you got to be some hard choices has to be made here, bro. So it's a forget about it for me. Dr. Brentley, Mr. Maddox.
Yeah, forget about it, but it looks great. And
Yeah.
if you're into it, this is a perfect thing to, have on your shelf. I mean, 5 different heads. So they are doing a lot more than
Yeah.
just your regular figure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, Wholesome Warlock does say there's was 1/12 exclusively until Grindhouse Chris messed it up for the entire Purple collection. Also, Grindhouse Kickstarter is still going. Let's hit those unlock goals. Absolutely. If you actually go over to the Kickstarter, we had Chris on, and actually, we were fortunate that he's actually using a clip for his Kickstarter now to hit those extra goals. But that was the Kickstarter of the year for us. It was amazing line, amazing creator. Glad that that's getting out into the hands of the world, because we need a little World War hell in our lives, don't we, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, then it
And-
gives me a perfect excuse to get RoboSkull now. 'Cause I'm like,
Exactly.
okay, I'm
Exactly.
getting smaller figures.
Exactly.
and it's
So-
and it's fully funded, so now it is just unlocking the tiers.
exactly.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
that.
it's at $81,977.
There you go. When
So
it's good
congrats on
stuff,
that, Chris.
when it's good stuff, people will flock to it. There's a difference.
And then I saw Deadly's post of all the figures he picked up, and I'm like, oh great, now other small figures, and now
Mhm,
Delta 7. And I'm like,
mhm, mhm.
I need to stop. I have problems. Someone
Yeah.
help me.
Well,
Someone
Deadly
help
has a
me.
problem right there. I thought, I've only seen a haul that bad since, since the Blitz.
Supermarket sweep? Like, what's going on there with the good?
Like I said, I saw a Bly, or I'm sorry, Blitz, when he went to the did that convention, and he picked up 5 hot toys. I was like, 5 hot toys at a convention. I was like, my God. But then, like, Deadly had to go there and said, hold my beer, my tequila, and my other mixer drink, because he took it to the next level at Joe Fest. I was like, how'd you get that stuff home? And they had to use like a drug mule. But he definitely got that.
Mhm.
And right here, 96 from Lana.
Well,
Yep. All right, there you go.
yeah.
True. Let's get it to that. And Delta 17 sounds like the what's it say? Like a fake
Fake
herb
herb.
that they sell in the South.
Hey, have you ever smoked some Delta 17 before watching Godzilla -1? You should. It's quite the trip.
Up until he said that, now I'm absolutely right. Like, they might want to think about rebranding that, because that doesn't make you think about action figures. It makes you think about something in the beer somewhere. So actually right on the point of that. But yeah, so one of those aspects, again, make sure you guys are paying attention. If you want that, it's only limited to 1,000. It's probably going to be hard. It's a variant, so I'm sure they've got plans to do something else down the line. But it just probably will come with these same accessories. But great job, Mondo. This is one of the few times I think it's worth the price that you put up for it.
Yep, it'll sell out.
Now, here's the thing. We had to say McFarlane is, they say McFarlane Hail Mary. I think this is what they call McFarlane is dialing it the hell in at the end of this, because you could just tell that he's just through with DC.
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
What is the
Like
what
the
is
Wonder
the bo-
Woman, like
what's the
Wonder
body?
Woman.
What is
Wonder
that?
Woman on the side is like he took a funnel and shaped it in ZBrush and then put it into like fucking Wonder Woman. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. It's like yeah, it's literally, if you look at it and you were to put a shape over this bad boy, it would literally be a funnel. The head is way too small for the body. And the skirt makes 0 sense. And then, do you guys remember Crash Test Dummies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mr. Superboy over here literally looks like a crash test dummy, where it just came out and they accidentally painted like Superman. But I want this Superboy makes me want to take it and throw it on the ground to watch the like explosion effects that the crash test dummy figures had. I don't know. I think maybe these are his these look worse than his Ross exclusives he announced low key on a live. Like, these are, I don't know.
The worst. The worst.
But the Superboy Page Puncher looks good right now while my eyes are blades. That Delta 17 you got, buddy.
Yeah. I'm gonna go on record here. I know the box office graveyard awards are not until December.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, whoever the toy photographer for this one was, is the worst pose of any action figure. The laziest shit I've ever seen. I
Here's
mean,
the worst thing. I think
they must have
Chet
given this
actually
to
know who the
whoever.
photographer is, right? I think we know who did this. Actually,
No, we don't.
I think Chet and I
No,
do.
yeah, we met him.
And
Yeah,
we met him.
we met, but I don't know if he's still there. But yeah, we met him. That
It can't be. Well, maybe if he might not be still there after this shit, because he had one foot out the door when they were like, "Hey, I'm excited to take, hey, I'm so stoked. I'm gonna shoot the new McFarlane Superman movie line. So I can't wait. Whoa, hold on. We got somebody else doing that. We want you to shoot the page punchers." And he knocked this shit out in 5 minutes and turned the photos in, because this is embarrassing. I mean, come on.
The legs look like they're for a different figure. Honestly, it's like a different scale than the top half of her body.
Yeah.
Who's pre-ordering page punchers, by the way?
This technically,
nobody.
this was like an action figure had a Make-A-Wish request, and so it was like the Make-A-Wish for the action figure was Wonder Woman. There you go. That's I mean, look at it. It's like the Make-A-Wish figure. So.
Yeah, this is when it's like, come on, Todd. How do you show that you checked out?
I mean, how do I make
out?
this bigger so you can see just how? I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, dude. This is probably. I the minute I saw this, I'm like, oh no, it gets it. He's checked out. He's like, look, I know I got like less than 6 more months of this, and I'm done. It's like we're just gonna start putting up everything.
It's like, well, I guess you're running out of figures or outfits to put them in. And so you just throw in like, hey, how about that first outfit? Remember when Wonder Woman was in a skirt? Oh, everyone's gonna love that.
I figured it out, and this is all thanks to Meeks mentioning this comment. I know exactly what's going on here. McFarlane is at the tail end of his time with these figures, right?
Yeah.
So all he's doing is buying and repackaging Temu figures as McFarlane figures and sending them out under his own license without having to do the work. That's all this is. It's just is a Temu repackage.
All I can say is, Uncle Todd, you could do better.
We got Wonder Woman at home.
We know you can do better, Uncle Todd. This is not indicative of your work.
Jeez. Well, I could say that she should be thrown in with the fishes. That's a very easy assessment for me.
Oh yeah, these two are sleeping definitely.
Yes. This was definitely one of those where this is one like 2 in the head, the cement blocks and everything. You put it underneath Giant Stadium at the Jimmy's Road 50 line. You want to make sure that this was never dug up.
These are the ollies.
These figures are the first official ones that get fed to the pigs. So, like, you might be sleeping with the fishes, you have a chance to be found, but these get fed to the pigs. That's all I'm saying.
Meeks, I don't even think it would be at the dollar store, to be honest with you. That'd be insulting their integrity.
The dollar store would be like, no.
We got standards.
I'll be honest with you. If the big rig was stolen with all these figures in it and somebody took it and they looked in the back to see what they were, that should be left in Buc-ee's in rural Alabama for someone to pick up. They would not take one figure.
Yeah, these are fed to the pigs, my friend. This is not.
We're spending too much time on this damn thing right here.
Guys, that's the end of Pre-Order Mafia. Like I said, again, if you are into the page punchers, July 2nd is when these things drop. I don't think I need to mention that to anybody. I don't think anybody here in the chat's conversions, but if you are, there it is. But yeah, man, a month of stuff, man, all over the place, and it's just wow. Like I said, so yeah, you look out for more Pre-Order Mafia because it's the summer season, and we may have one almost every week because they're dropping a bunch of stuff, brother. A bunch of stuff.
Yep. We'll see. So hey, we got three. Forget about it. We got made figure and one that's in the ocean with Aquaman. Wait a minute. I'm receiving some late breaking news. Are you getting that in your head? Are you getting that in it?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of rumors are hitting right now. I don't what is that? What was that?
That opened it. Love that opening.
We try. We try.
Dude, guys in the back busting their butts.
Subscribe.
That.
Subscribe. Free page puncher for every subscription.
Yeah.
It's
They're
hard
about
to follow
free.
that up. Hard to follow that up tonight, bro. We're gonna definitely try to do that.
Oh.
Guess what? This is the rumor alert. Have you seen that? Last
Thanos.
week we introduced this segment first on the show, and it's something going forward. So, also this has a tier system. And the tier system is that, hey, is it a fact or is it a grain of salt, or there's a couple other variations in there? It could be a grain of salt with a little bit of truth. So, understand that these are these are rumors. These might not be factual. These are just something that we've seen on through the fanverse, and we thought we'd bring it up to you. So we've got taken in the first rumor alert of the night. Thanos is returning to the MCU. That's right. Josh Brolin may return back as Thanos in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars movies. Some reports indicate Thanos actually could be the multiversal team opposing Doctor Doom, possibly a variant of himself. Brolin has expressed interest in reprising the role if the Russos are involved, and his character could potentially be a king from another universe. Now, we're going to label this as grain of salt for now because this is being reported by IMDb and Yahoo. So those are actually pretty good sources. So this might be actually something that's happening. And with the MCU, they've been letting a lot of these leaks out about who's the Black Panther one came out. And, Robert Downey Jr. was months before we heard it. I got a feeling that, look, you cannot do this version and storyline without bringing Thanos back.
Yeah.
They've had such a bad run lately that they need to, leak all this stuff about, hey, you know what? Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. Hey, you know what? Thanos is coming back. Hey, Punisher's going to be in Spider-Man. They need to do whatever they can to get people back into the Marvel Universe because it has dropped off significantly. This is going to do it. The Secret Wars Doomsday double feature, they're going to be just fine with that because they're bringing everybody back. Chris Evans, everybody's coming back. Mm-hmm. So hope it works. If they're doing a whole multiverse thing, Thanos only died in one universe. There's thousands of them. So
I think this is unrelated to this particular rumor, but I will say I am speaking this with such conviction that they have to have the biggest surprise of all time in this movie to jumpstart the excitement. I really do think it has to be something we are not expecting.
I don't know how you're still talking with a serious face after what because what Commander Blythe said. I don't.
Jesus.
I applaud you, sir. I applaud you.
I think he's a professional.
I think Tom Cruise is going to be in this movie.
I think I would not be surprised if this was the opportunity for them to do that.
I think that Robert Downey Jr.'s salary reported of $100+ million is not factual, and I think part of that is masked in what they're paying Tom to be in this film, and I think he's going to be Iron Man, and I think he's going to be the version. I just think so. I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, you could say, hey, we're paying $100 million for Tony Stark to come in, and you could have a couple of different Tony Starks underneath that banner.
Yeah.
Banner, get it, Hulk.
Yeah, I do think, but I don't know. Thanos great, but it wouldn't be exciting. I mean, it'd be exciting to see Thanos, but I need a surprise.
Well, but Thanos, I think, can come out as like the surprise hero of this thing because he doesn't, he doesn't want to get blown away by Doomsday or whatever. So he's going to go up against him, and they could make something a sort of a redemption for a character that was the biggest bad guy in all of the MCU.
Well, I mean, but doesn't God Emperor Doom just kill Thanos? Like, does he just come back and that's the intro? Yeah,
he does, brother.
Yeah. So
All right, guys. This is I already know that it's gonna be time to let that cat out of the bag. It's me. They're bringing me to the MCU. You heard it
Yeah,
first.
but we already knew they needed an extra for like one of the desk jockeys in the police station. So
All right. So from there, one rumor down, couple more to go. Let's see what we got else on this. And again, it's just rumors. Just rumors. But this one is becoming something that we're gonna say is a fact. Reported by Variety that several Bond actors on the short list, and I'm a little bit discouraged if it's.
I mean, are they casting
not
for
one.
hobbits or Bond? What's going on here?
Well, they got Tom Holland, Jacob Elordi, and Harrison Dickerson. And then there's a bottom point. There are a lot of rumors has been going on that the actor Alan, I can't remember his last. I think Alan Johnson, that was Craven, was also in the running as well. We'll see if that's still the case. But it's like
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. That's the gentleman's name. And it says, are at the top of the list when it comes to actors to take on the mantle of 007 in the Bond 26. Amazon is reportedly looking to cast a British actor under the age of 30 in the role, meaning former frontrunners could be off the table. We're going to say that this is who the F are these dudes? He got it right. Tom Holland better not be Bond. Yeah, I think, look, if Amazon goes the route and they put Tom Holland as Bond, I think it's going to backfire on them. It's not going to do well. I think Tom Holland, just like Pedro Pascal, they're oversaturating themselves. And I think fans now, like Pedro's getting at where people's like, I'm sick of this guy in films. I think we're getting to the stage of Tom Holland as well. I don't know the other two actors' work. I think it's interesting on Aaron. But there's a couple of things in his background that I think maybe Amazon doesn't want to have to deal with as well. So there's a lot of things to unpack on that. Again, Idris Elba, Henry Cavill, certain guys that we know that people, the minute you see it, it's gonna blow up.
I mean, look, if you want this film to just blow it out of the water, Nick Cage is the choice. I mean, it's clear as day. As day.
James Bond.
And Nick Cage with a British accent. Just run with it. Let it go. And I know Denis would be really happy.
I mean, he already stole the, Declaration of Independence. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Now, Jacob Elordi is a guy that might be good. He's going to be Frankenstein monster in the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein. So he is a decent actor. And out of these guys,
but here's a question, like a chick on a dating app, like how tall is he, right?
Because Frankenstein's monster is 4'6", so you needed
okay, doesn't have to be that big. Yeah.
There was no way any of these guys are over 6 feet.
It's set in the Victorian area, a lot smaller men then, so everything else works. But yeah, I don't know. I think that when the list came out, I don't know what Amazon's doing, but this doesn't seem to be I don't think it's Tom Holland, because they go to Tom Holland. I think you're going to have people overseas like, what the hell are you doing?
Well,
I mean, unless they did Spider-Bond.
Jacob Elordi is 6'5".
Wow. Okay.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's 6'5".
That's why he's Frankenstein's monster.
Holy, which guys are Lordy? Which guy?
The first guy.
Yeah,
on the left.
First guy is
6'5" Bond. Jesus.
All right.
Okay. All right.
That would work.
Well, all right.
He could go up against Jaws, and you'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, how about let's do a Franken Bond then. Let's just do across.
Yeah, Tom Holland's 5'7", so that's a hard pass.
Yeah, it's a hard pass.
Not my type. And then Harris Dickinson. I'll be Dickinson. This guy. Let's see. This dude is all right. This dude's 6'2". So
okay.
So I could see that the 6'5" one is kind of like the thing. What was the guy that got the watch deal though? That was
Aaron
Craven guy, right?
Yeah. So that's why a lot of people were pointing out that he has a very good chance. Yeah, Commander Blythe.
Let's see. Here we go. I mean, it is Hollywood. You never know.
Yeah,
You
well.
never know.
Well, with that factoid that Commander Bly hit us and everything, we're down to one more rumor of the night and everything. And this one is quite disturbing because I got a feeling that this, even though it might be a grain of salt, I got a feeling it might not be. We are going to get some more Ghostbusters, and it seems like, there's going to be a point of trying to mess this up. It says the more Ghostbuster films and animated series via. Now, this is where he's made some right predictions. It's my time to shine. Hello on X. He's made some very good ones, and sometimes he's been off. But it says Sony apparently is developing 4 new Ghostbuster films. Oh God, one being a live action follow up to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which released last year, as well as a planned animated trilogy. Saying grain of salt only because of the fact is that it's an X account and it's a public account. You never know. None of the trades are reporting this at the moment. But if it is, I don't understand the thinking of this. You guys are cramming too much Ghostbusters down our throats and not enough Ghostbusters material that's good. I think you need to really start thinking. Sony and Universal do a really good job of trying to destroy their franchises, and I don't know what's going on over there.
Hey, when you're good at when you're good at something, you're good at it, man. Don't fucking don't steer the fuck away for the benefit of the IP, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep running that shit into the ground. No one cares. You're gonna make a follow up to Frozen Empire, which is a bad move. It's not a good movie. You're gonna make an animated trilogy. No one's gonna want to watch it because it's definitely not gonna be about the first original Ghostbusters. So hey, just let's just get this thing buried as soon as possible. 2026 for the win.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This one is don't double down on something they need to do. They probably need. Look, Ivan Reitman's son is actually doing it right now. They probably need to go out and get an outside individual that can have a little bit of new eyes to this, because so far the last couple of outings just haven't worked. They've been a little lackluster. I can't believe they're doubling down on a third film when a couple of these films have barely cracked the point of making some money. So we're gonna have to see. And it's a shame of all these other things, but the good thing about it is, guess what? That's the end of Room Alert, so we can see a good as outro.
Thank you, Mr. Storm, as always. And I think we should just jump right into another intro, because it is now time for all things pop culture in news. And that is SKN News.
That is right. From our world to your world, this is SKN News. And we're starting out with one of the best Lego series that I've ever seen, the sets. And guess what? I give them credit when it says, we've got the informative title of, you give credit to credit's due. It's like, I do believe that the X-Files is coming to Legos. And look, this is spectacular, man. First of all, I would not want to build this damn thing because God knows this is going to be some point. But Lego recently tasked fans with building their own nostalgic tributes to the 1990s as part of a Build Your Nostalgia 90s Throwback Challenge, with the winner build being turned into an official Lego idea set in the future. The winner of the challenge has been announced this morning, which was the other morning a couple of days ago. And we're about to get an official Lego set based on the X-Files. The builder is the name of Wet Wired, is responsible for this set. The X-Files, the truth is out there. When you look at the detail in just this alone, the file cabinet, the desk, the little poster, I don't even know how he did that poster in the background. He's got Skinner, he's got the cigarette man, he's got all these other things. And if you look, there's a little subtleness right over here in the heating vent, which again, it's got all the eye candy and everything that you're looking at, but we'll show up with a couple other little photos right here. First of all, it's a double-tiered stacking set. Upstairs, there's a whole aliens being abducted by a saucer, and Mulder and Scully there. You got them at their desk. And again, that poster, I don't know how he reduplicated that at that size for Lego. But the thing I love about Lego is somehow they don't look like the characters, but they always look like the actors or whoever. Somehow it's just nailed, almost like, yeah, that's them. And you know,
It
the
looks
set,
like Duchovny.
it's
Actually,
a,
like
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
it's weird.
It's like right on the money, man. And you know, you got 2,020 pieces, including the minifigures, which is Fox Motor, Dana Scully. You've got the Gray Alien, which is the one on top of above, and then you've got the Jersey Devil was looking through the little vent right there, which I was like, oh my goodness. And then Walter Skinner, and then the well, this is technically it says the Syndicate leader, and you know, there's a lot of great parts of this set. Now, there's no release date yet, but this is coming to a future locked up cabinet at a Target near you. so, so the thing I got a question is, Chet, you're a resident Lego builder out of this.
Mhm.
Are you going to take on the task of going down to the basement and building the X Files?
I am, and I'm hoping that it comes out like not this year because they're releasing the $1,000 Death Star, and I'm working on a deal for about $1,000 for an AT-AT. So I don't need this to come out anytime soon. But this is a definite must, and this is one of the ones where it's so well put together that I think
Yeah.
it would be a really cool like centerpiece. And look, the person that did this, like I follow that like build like the creator series,
hmm
and there's some cool stuff. Just a little side note, it didn't get made, but I designed a My Pet Monster one,
Oh, okay.
and nothing happened with it. But it looked like My Pet Monster. Had the chains, had everything, was sitting on a brick wall. But nothing happened with that. But we'll see. This one I'm excited about this though. So
All right. Well, like I said, Dr. Brentley, do you believe?
Oh yeah, like the flashlights,
Yeah.
everything. That's so much great little details here. Skinner's bald head, you can tell it's Skinner. You know, like there's so many great things here. Little details that if you watch the series, you recognize all this stuff.
Absolutely.
It looks beautiful.
I love when fans do this kind of thing because you're looking and saying like, wow, this person really took a level of dedication that I don't even know the Lego team would have took. So, hey, kudos to him. I can't wait to see this set. I'm on the fence actually because I know they've got the Sherlock Holmes that they were coming out with. I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, but I think my shelf is going to have some major ass displays on them. From there, we're jumping into our favorite point. You know what this is. If you love the popcorn buckets, as we know you do, we look at the numbers. You're watching the popcorn bucket. Well, I got to tell you something. Out of all the values of the popcorn buckets that we've seen, this is actually you're getting a large popcorn when you get it because that shark is holding a grip load of popcorn in it. This thing is huge. And if you're munching away in Amity Island Tourist on the screen, you can munch away the popcorn of a shark-shaped popcorn bucket, priced at $45, and it measures 11 inches tall. Also, there is the chum bucket, which, if you remember, and it's the chum bucket. If you remember in the movie, they had the actual billboard when it was defaced. And it had the link. It's that the image is right on there. Now, if you didn't know, it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws. Steven Spielberg is out there doing his thing. And look, Alamo Draft House. I don't know if you should be drinking, and then this shark's on the floor because it might mess up some people. But this is probably one of the better popcorn buckets when it comes to actually holding popcorn. But anybody got to take her on the $45 or more, guys?
It's almost worth it, I have to say. The only thing is I can see design wise they probably had to go back a couple times because people putting their hands into the mouth were getting caught by the teeth. So the teeth are very small and inaccurate. That's the only thing that's inaccurate about Jaws. Otherwise, though, it looks amazing.
What about you, Mr. Maddox? Diving deep in Amity Island?
yeah, I'm trying to find this popcorn bucket. It's $45. Unlike
I
the
can say-
Galactus one that was like 80 something.
I think this is great. I'm waiting for the Jaws 3 one where they have the dude with the hand and the plastic explosives in there and the grenade. And you can give me that one, then I've got it. I'll actually pick this up. But no, this is huge. I've seen a couple of people holding it. I was like, my God, this is one of the biggest popcorn buckets I've seen in a long time. We're always feeling like it looks like a handful of stuff is in it. No, you're getting your value at Animal Draft House with this thing. Also over at AMC Theaters as well. And again, you guys, if you're looking for the 50th anniversary of Jaws, it's all over the place. You can definitely kind of see that through. Hey, what's going on, Jason? Welcome in, sir. Howdy, sir. And Commander Bly, is that's tall enough to sit on my lap with nothing peeking out of the popcorn. Should have known he was going to do that, man. Should have known. So, anyways, hey, $45. This is one of the few times I'm like, it's worth 45, man. So, moving along, we've got something that Rad brought to our attention this morning. We actually are throwing this on because it is actually very nice and great looking book. Robert Kirkman, he's all over the place, man. He's selling stuff over to Paramount, and he's got Invincible on, and he's screwing his best friends out of Walking Dead rights, all the kind of stuff that he does. Great job, Mr. Kirkman. But Robert Kirkman's going to take over the Transformer comic in a couple of weeks. Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora take over as a new creative team on Transformer Comics issue number 25. Now, the best part about Transformers 25, it marks a fresh start and a perfect jump-on point, and also for new or returning actual readers. Main series colorist Mr. Mark Spicer and letterer Russ Wooden remain, ensuring that the continuity of the creative team. Variant covers, because they got to have 10 of these damn things. Well, they've got them all over the place, man. But here's two of the top ones. Great looking series. And now, actually, you've got Dan Moore that's coming in. He's replacing Darren Warden Johnson, who was everybody loved his beginning run. And last year, if you saw him on the Hasbro Pulse screen, he was, he won, I think, an Eisner and everything else. This guy's like fired up all over the place. So it looks like they're doing a pretty good job. We've got a couple of pages from the inside. And I will have to say, this is a great looking comic book, man.
Yeah. Looks great.
If you're not into the Transformers, the whole Energon universe, this probably is a good jumping on point to get involved in that. What do you guys say?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the art looks great. Look, we're however you feel about Kirkman, I mean, he's got a proven track record of telling stories and big name to catapult it from number 25. So a great time to dive in if you're a Transformers fan. But I do appreciate the art here. Covers are cool. Seems like something any Transformer fan would want. And if you want a quick read, now's the time.
I think this is gonna because I am a huge Transformers fan. I think this is something that I'm gonna start on this one. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna see what I think about it. I give everything 3 issues before I make my decision. The last panel on the 4th page is when the zombies show up, and they're not zombies; they're called walkers. So let's be clear about that.
Yeah, I think I'm going the same way we would, Chet. I think I will start at issue 25 just to see where it goes. But I love the artwork. It looks good. Look, we were saying we need more good comics. If this accomplishes to get more people in, and if on the channel, the comics are not the things that take it through the next level when it comes to people's interest. Hopefully this can bring it back in, especially this is coming out in October, so it's missing a little bit of that summer crowd, but might got something forward to look at the end. And it's
I want that if you go back to the other covers, I want the cover that was on the right. Like that's that cover. That cover is what I like. See, that's what I like. That just shows like Optimus Prime being very primal and ripping apart, and like that. I'm into that. So yeah.
Well, gentlemen, with that, that's the end of SKN News for the week.
Well, as always, appreciate it, Mr. Storm, and we appreciate you all hanging in with us this evening, hanging out. Again, as a reminder, first time coming in or your 100th time coming in, we run every Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time right here on the Shadow Nose Network. So don't forget to subscribe and like. And then we also have a live stream featuring toys and collectibles, all things in the world of pop culture. Toy Box Chronicles, which is on Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific time, the same channel. So, gentlemen, big episode tonight. Lots of some pre-orders, some Bond news, a couple days, we're going to see what the Joe team on Monday brings to the table. Final thoughts as we wrap the evening.
Oh yeah, man. As we're also looking at, thanks for everybody on X and Instagram tuning in too. We see you guys, so thank you for popping in. Look, Monday's going to be the telltale. It's last day of Yo-Jo June. We're going to see if it's going to like fester over and it's going to like drive fandom to another point of being upset, or they're going to get everyone's expectations made, and then everybody forgets the previous 29 days that happened before. So I'm looking forward to it. Either way, it's going to be a show.
Yeah, we'll see.
We shall see. Chet, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I don't agree with Dead Man. It's not Tom Holland should not be Bond. But no, hey, yeah, we'll see what happens. So hopefully, the HasLab isn't a disappointment, and we get something that we want. And yeah, I mean, here's to hopefully a better Yo-Jo June next year, because I thought we were going to get it this year, we didn't. So
Yep. Just like the last 2 years.
Absolutely right, Dan, man.
Yep.
Absolutely right.
Well, again, appreciate y'all hanging out. Don't forget Bandito Radio 112 FM as well. So if you're not listening on various channels, including YouTube, Spotify, where you can get it, Mr. Storm, Chet Maddox is part of the breakdown, as well as Purple Gang Gang, lots of artists, music's the best type of radio show for toy collectors, customizers, and anybody's looking to tune in and have a great time doing so on the road. So appreciate it all. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Peace out.